everybody, hello, welcome. I promised you that I would, well, I didn't promise, but I did say I would do Edith yesterday, Tuesday, and it just took me so long to prepare for it that I didn't get the video out. However, for those of you that don't know what we're doing this Edith Holden Lapbook, which looks like that. Looks like that on the front. Looks like that on the back. And when you open it up, it looks like this inside. Look at the gorgeous blue tits and poppies. And of course our lovely Edith. And it has, or it will have, when it's complete, 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2 little journals that will be attached by the ribbon that Mr. F cunningly put in when he was building the whole thing. So we've got 1 section done already, and this will be in the playlist, which is called, what's the playlist called, Mr. F?
Edith Lapbook, I think.
Oh, there you go, Edith Lapbook. So you can't really
me creativity.
No. So we've done this one, and the video for that is in the playlist called Edith Lapbook. I just looked through videos not that long ago. You'll probably find it fairly easily. So just to go through that, that's that big pocket. It flips open that way. We've got 2 pockets. We've got a flip. We've got a belly band there, which actually is still waiting for a journaling card. I'd forgotten about that. And we want 2 smaller journaling cards because there's 2 belly bands on the belly band. Then here we've got a side pocket with some painted flowers on, a big journaling card, and then that all folds like that. And then this is the flip that comes over the top. So that's section 1. So it's quite chunky, as you can see. It takes up quite a lot of that space, and I still want to get a journal in on that spine and another section. So I've devised this next section to be not quite so chunky as this one. If it turns out it's too chunky, then it can go in one of these sections, and I'll devise a slimmer one. Put it on a diet. So that's the story so far anyway. Right, so this is what I have devised, and this is what we'll be making today. Well, part of it, I'm going to split this into 2 because otherwise I'll be here sitting here forever and a day. So that's the way it's going to look in the book. It flips open that way, and it flips open that way. And this flips open as well. We've got a nice acetate window there. That flips open there. Then we've got a pocket hidden under this flip with a little journaling card in it. Like that. So that goes there. That comes down there. This has got a journaling card in it as well. That comes down there, and it goes around this string and this button like that. Here we've got 2 flip flaps, and I really didn't want to put too much on this page. It's just simply beautiful, and I really didn't want to spoil it in any way. So we've got this. Oh, just look at that. I mean, these are 2 of my very favouriteest, my most favourite pages in Edith, and they're there together. And then that one there. So they flap over nicely like that. And when you open them up, you've got that. But you have got journaling down there and down there. So there is some journaling. Then here on the end, we've got a pocket. Plain, straightforward pocket with a nice, good-sized journaling card in there. And then it folds over like that. And we've got this iris pocket on the back with a really nice big journaling card in there. Plenty of journaling. should the recipient want to journal in it. I do realise that a lot of people that buy my Edith Lapbooks and stuff don't journal in them. You keep them and you get them out periodically and you have a look at them and you put them back on the shelf, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So let's make a start on this today. This is the section that's going to get stuck into the book. And on this one, I think I explained to you last time that I'm making this for a friend and I want it to have local things to me on it. So this one actually has the, if I can find it. Well, here we've got a place called Spade Adam. It's an RAF, I don't know what you call it, RAF place. Base, an RAF base. And it's where they test all the, I'm not saying all the bombs, but they test a heck of a lot of bombs. And where we are, we can feel the pressure, we hear the pressure. That's not right, is it? But you know what I mean. It's kind of a loud, rumbly noise that makes the window shake. Makes your teeth rattle. So that's Spade Adam there. And then here, somewhere, is where I live. There's Plen Miller. Oh, I don't know. I might have covered myself up. I don't think so, though. I don't know. I live around there somewhere. I'll sort myself out. So that fits over there, that comes down there, and that goes round there. So let's make a start with this back page first. Well, let me tell you about the measurements of the file folder. So this was my file folder. It looked, let me just, oh, I've got all sorts of things balanced on top of it. Oh. Any space gets things laid down on it, doesn't it? Right, so this was the way that it was. The longest edge, it's just got one side that's slightly longer than the other, can you see? So I kept that to the right, and I used this, the sort of manufactured crease, if you like, as the crease for the middle of my thing. So that went there. So that crease that I've used there is on that crease. And then I put in a 1/4 inch spine. So I just scored down 1/4 inch to the left of this crease. To the left of the manufactured crease, I scored 1/4 inch. And then from that crease that I'd just put in, score line, I measured another 6.5 and cut it off. So you can see there, that's the manufacturer's crease. Then I put another crease in at 1/4 inch, and then from there I measured 6.5 and I cut that off. Okay, the whole thing is 9 inches tall because that's what Edith measures, and we're using the Edith books for the Lapbook. So it's not, you need to cut your file folder, whatever it is you're using, cut it off at 9 inches tall if you are indeed using your Edith books for your Lapbook, same as I am. Right, so we've got that side sorted. This side, from the manufacturer's crease, I measured 6.5 and then scored. Then another 1/4, scored again. Okay, so there's my manufacturer's crease. I measured 6.5 across, scored a line, another 1/4 inch from that score line, I scored again, and that gave me this nice 1/4 inch spine. Okay, so have we got it? 6.5, 1/4, 6.5, 1/4, and that leaves you with, well, it leaves me with 2 3/4. This piece here measures 2 3/4. You wouldn't think that, would you, to look at it? Am I right? 1, 2, yeah, 2 3/4. So let's just pop that away again. Over there, yeah, it wanted to fall on the floor. So I've got my flap here that's 2 3/4. This is going to be stuck to the book, this, and then it's going to fold like that. So there's our, that's the skeleton for our next section. Okie dokie, let's make a start. I think I've got things prepared, but you know, when you start, you realise that you haven't got half of the things prepared that you thought you had. So let's see anyway. What's that? I don't think we need that. I think this is the section. I mean, look at all the stuff there is just for one section. So I need something for so much stuff. Help. Not that page. I want my back page. Where is my back page? Not so sure I cut the back page out. That's bizarre. Maybe it's this one. It's not that one, I know that. Is it this one? Yes, I think it is. Okay. So it's page 68 in Edith. I have had to go in and get some more pages, you know, cut some more out of the book. But that's okay. So that's going to go there, but don't stick it down yet. We've got things to stick behind that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my string and button closure on, because I'm a devil at forgetting to do that. I really am. And then, you know, you've stuck everything down and it's, oh no. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find the centre. That's 6.5, as we know. I'm going to get my Timmy ruler out. 6.5, so 3.25. And I want it about an inch off the bottom. Well, maybe a little more. An inch and a quarter. Let's go for an inch and a quarter to make our mark. And I want it at 3. That's just light of 6.5, that actually. So about there, I think, is about the centre of that. Okay. So I've already made my little button. Very easy to make. If you've got circle punchers, punch out an inch one in Edith, an inch one in the green card, and then a half an inch one. That's not strictly necessary, I just do that. Stick them all on top of each other like that. And let's get our yoga mat out and our pokey tool. Pokey. Yeah, this is going well so far. And I'm going to poke my hole through there where I measured like that. And this one, just going to find the centre. It's about there, I'd say. And poke that through as well. Now, this is just going to be onto this paper, and frankly I don't think that paper is sturdy enough to hold that. So what I'm going to do is get a bit of the green card, just a remnant, a scrap piece. You see, this is the piece that I cut my circles out of, and I'm just going to randomly take a rectangle. Could be a circle, you could be anything, any shape you like. And I'm going to stick that over where I've made my hole. And that's going to reinforce this paper. So when you're tying your button closure, it's not going to rip it through. And I fear if we didn't put this on that it might rip it through. So let's just pop that over there. It doesn't matter particularly how it looks. Well, it doesn't matter at all how it looks, to be honest, because nobody's ever going to see that. So let's just make that hole again, but through the cardboard as well this time. So there we have it, that's that. And that's going to go onto there. And I'm going to hold mine on with a brad. You can use an eyelet if you want to. I've got some brads that look like big screws and I like them. I don't even know where I got them from. Go Craft. Oh, AliExpress it says. AliExpress Go Craft. Fair enough. But they look like the, Phillips screws. And I kind of like the idea of that. So I'm just going to push that through there. They've got quite big legs on them, these. Quite chunky legs. So I'm going to, my pokey tool gets wider as you go up, so I'm going to push it all the way through. Like that. And see if I can get these on now. Yeah, lovely. And that. I quite want my Edith writing to be the right way round. I mean, that's just being a bit fussy, but I do. So that's that there. Turn that over. Push that right down onto it and splay the legs. Like so. And there we have it. There's our button closure on there. So now I can't forget. Hooray! So the next thing to build is our flippy flappy. So that's, here is my flippy flappy. That's going to go onto there and open that way. So let me give you some measurements. It measures 5.5 by 7, and then I've scored along there at half. So this measures, now it measures 6.5 by 5.5. But don't forget when you're cutting it out to allow for that, the folded bit that's going to lock it in place behind there. Like that. Okay. So what I need to do first is stick this onto here. So I can't remember what page number this is, but it's, you know, you'll recognise it. It's the one with this on. So let's stick that on. I mean, you don't have to stick to the same pieces that I'm using. You know, it's your Edith book. You use whichever pictures you fancy. And then it'll be entirely your choice. Mr. F's been very industrious today. He's making a gift. And he's really going to town on it, I can tell you. Oh, do I need to put... Yeah, actually, I think before I put that in, and I'm well aware of the fact I've got it glued, I need to put my little tab in. That's a bit of a curse, isn't it? But I do, so it's got to be done. So let's just glue that together like that. Quick ink around it. If I'm lucky, that glue might still work. There we go, and just glue one of the sides here like that, and then I want it fairly central, and it's kind of important that I get this central because it's got to line up with that button closure. It's like the lion enclosure. Yeah, I think that's about right there. So we'll just leave that there. Has the glue still got any integrity? Some, not much. I could probably get away with it, but I couldn't bear it if it fell apart in somebody's hands. So I'll just do the outsides. I think the insides will be near enough. There we go. So let's stick this in place then. When it's got wet glue on, especially the collall, I imagine Fabri-Tac too, you can move it around so you can get it exactly where you want it. So that's that. I should have inked along there. I'm not thinking today. Come on. It's probably because I've been crafting since, I don't know, before dawn. No, that's a lie. But it was early. So let's ink around this now. I do want to put rounded corners on this. but I'll do that after I've put the back on, the back part. And the back part is another acetate window. So we're getting quite good at our acetate windows. Getting plenty practice. So, yes, this is what we've got so far. So that's going to go there, like that. This is going to go in behind it. So we've got the front bit on. We've got the tab on, which we're going to put an eyelet in to tie around there. So now I need to do the back of this. So let's see how we're going to tackle that then. I need to put something in the back, so when you move the journaling card out, you can still see. I'm doing it with the one I've already done, so I can see what I did. Ah, yeah, I used this one. This fella, me lad. Now it doesn't need to go right to the edges because we're going to have a frame on, you know, with the acetate. So I'm just going to move that in a bit and mark that. You know, just a good 1/4 inch in. Let's cut that off and then we can cut the width where we want it. That's the thing with these lap books. They are quite labour intensive, but if you like that sort of thing, they're perfect. And I do actually like that sort of thing. I like making mini albums and stuff. There we go. Now I just need to see what width I need this to be. I definitely want to get that bird in, so I think I'll probably use the edge of the page there. And I'll cut it off about there. So I'm leaving a good 1/4 inch all the way around. Lovely. So I can stick that down. This doesn't need to be inked or anything. It's just the back. Yeah, no, it doesn't need anything, it just needs to be stuck down. I mean, the other side of that's glorious as well, isn't it? Come on, glue, what's wrong with you? Right, so this is going to be the bit that's the back, that when the journal card is removed, this is what you'll see. Okay, so that's what that is. Lovely, that's lovely. Excellent, so we'll pop that to one side just now while we make our acetate window. So here's my acetate, and I need this is what I need. Now let me think about this. Yes, I don't want to just use the Edith paper because I think it's just a bit thin, really. There are places I have used just the Edith paper, but for this particular one with the acetate, I'm going to back it. So all I'm going to do, I mean, that's glorious too, isn't it? I'm just going to stick a piece of paper onto the back of that text, and then I'm going to cut my acetate window out from that. You could measure it and everything, you definitely could, but I'm just taking the easy way out. I'm just sticking a load of this. It could be any paper, just something that's got a bit of substance to it, just to beef up the Edith. And I haven't even measured this. I mean, it's pretty shoddy, guys. You can measure it if you want. Right, so there we are. So we've got this piece of Edith and we've got it bulked up with that bit of paper behind. So now I need to cut out the size that I need. I'm just going to hold this up to it, and I want it mostly text, so make a mark there, make a mark there. So I'm coming in beyond that margin and inside that margin. So, and where do I want to cut it off? About there. So let's do that chopping. So there we are, we've got that ready for the frame. Look, I've missed that top bit there, but that's all right, doesn't matter. Genuinely does not matter. Right, so what I want to do now is cut out my frame like you've seen me do before. Just get my cutting mat. So much stuff on my desk, so much stuff, but it's all needed because it's all for various stages of this. So I'm going to do this at 3/4 of an inch because I think any more, and we're just hiding Edith, lovely Edith images underneath, so I'm going to do it at 3/4. So making my lines the way I always do. There we are. And I do that so when I'm cutting it with my knife, I can see where the corner is and I can see where to stop. So where to stop and start. So let's line that up with that line that we've just drawn. Then I can start there. I'm using the wrong side of this ruler. Need to use that side with a metal in. I think that's cut, but yeah, I'm sure it has. I don't think that one has though. So just be patient. Maybe a couple of swipes over each will do the trick. Right, let's see if that wants to come out or not. Parts of it do. Parts of it are falling out. Wow. Yeah, look at that. That's great. That's a lovely frame, and keep that bit because it's just so lovely. I love it. Right, so what do I need? I've got my tag already, so that just needs to go onto there. Don't forget to ink around the inside of your frame, and then we need to put the acetate on. Okay. So let's ink around the inside of the frame. Let's get rid of the... oh no, I'll leave it till I've finished with the acetate. So I'm going to ink around the inside of here first. And I'm glad I put that extra paper on because it feels very flippy floppy without the centre when it's just a frame. Can you hear Mr. F being very industrious? It's like a factory in here, I tell you. It's like a junk journal factory. Not that either of us, to be perfectly honest, are making junk journals. I won't describe Edith as junk. Might as well go around the outside of here as well, hadn't I? Don't know how long Mr. F's is going to take to make. He's into precision in a big way. So this is more like an engineering feat than a junk journal. But I'm sure he'll show you when he's finished.
She's got me a big chopper out at the minute.
You've got your big chopper out. Mm. Very nice. And you are, as usual, standing in front of the window when you're doing anything that could be construed as rude. But by a big chopper, you mean your guillotine, don't you?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, he does. Right, so that's going there like that. The journaling card that's going in is going in that side from there. So we want to strengthen this edge down here. So I'm just going to write that before I forget it. I want washi on there. So let's get the washi out. I've got it out already. I'm organised. Yeah, really organised, but I can't find the end. There it is. Oops, it's torn. So just put it along that edge. It'll just toughen it up a little bit. Oh, I'll do it after I've put the acetate on. What a silly ninny. Just not concentrating, I think, this afternoon. Oh, get off. Yeah, acetate. That's the thing we need. So let's put that over and I'll get my fine liner out. And just mark that sort of 1/4 of an inch in from the edge. That's fine. It's not an exact thing. It's just so it covers the window and you've got enough room to glue it. I think that bit can... Oh well, still a bit on it. I'll hang on to it. So I'm going to glue this. I'm going to have to use this one because my other two Queen's glue things have for some reason stopped working this morning. No idea why. They've never done that before, ever. And then both of them do it on one day. So I'll use this one. This is the one I use when I'm not videoing because I like it. It's such a fine precision tip. But the downside is that you've got to get that pin in every time. So let's get this stuck on. There we go. And as I say, smooth the glue away from the acetate, away from the window. That's it. So it doesn't get, you're not pushing it that way and it doesn't get splodgy and come out your window, because that's just not what you want. So there we have it. There's our little acetate frame. It's lovely. I love that. So I'm going to now put my washi on, and what the washi will do is strengthen this edge, which is great. That's the opening edge. But it will also catch down the edge of the acetate, because otherwise you put your card in and 10 out of 10 times it catches the edge of the acetate and it drives you mad because you can't get your card in. So I know I've told you that before, but it is worth remembering to do it because you'll regret it if you don't. There we go. So let's just trim these off nicely. There we go. So we've got our that's pretty much it. Right, so that can get stuck onto here. And you see when we do that, like that, we've got this lovely birdie. So when you remove your journaling card, you've still got something beautiful to look at. Let me just check that that's not too long. I think that is a smidgel too long. I don't want that. Yeah, when I fold that up, it's just a smidge too long, so I'm just going to take that off. I'm going to take it off the bottom, because otherwise it won't fold properly and it'll drive me mad. So let's ink that again. This is the thing, it's always worth checking your measurements. You know, check and double check would be my advice. So there we are, that didn't take long and it's just hopefully rectified that problem. So that goes in there. Let's just push that up to there and fold that over. Yes, that's perfect now. Perfect. So we need to, yeah, lovely. I'm just checking I've got it the right way. We need to now glue the 3 sides that aren't the washi side. So yeah, I'll use this. And if you didn't cut your acetate right up to the edge, you'll have some card that you can glue on, which you get a better hold from than your acetate. So there we go. Let's put this in place. Yikes. It's always a bit nerve-wracking, isn't it? Or is it just me? I find it quite nerve-wracking. There we go. Lovely. That is just marvellous. There we go. Give that a good press down. In fact, let me put the lid on my glue and then I'm going to get my bone folder out. I knew this was going to be a problem. I think I probably need to pause and go and unblock my other glue, because that's going to drive you dotty if I have to keep doing that. Right, there we go. So that is going to be tucked in there like that. Open it up and that's what you get. Yay! So we just need to make our journaling card now. Actually, what I did do with this as well was round the corners, because I've rounded the corners other places and it looked odd that these weren't rounded. So I'm just going to round them just the 1/4 inch one, just to say they look rounded, really. Oh, Mr. F's taken pity on me and he's sorted my glue out. He's such a good Mr. F. Right, so now we need a journaling card, and this is the one that I made for the other one. So let's see if I can find those papers. Oh, they should be here, I think. Did I not take everything out that I needed? Are they in this? No, I think that's the other page pile. What's that? That could be it. Is that it? Yes, that's it. It's there. In the wrong place, but it doesn't matter. We've got it. So I'm not using exactly the same one as this one. I'm using this, which I think is apple blossom or plum blossom or cherry blossom. It's blossom, all right? It's blossom. I can't be any more exact because I've cut off where it says what it is. So I've got a piece of cream card and my image, and they measure a smidge over 6 by a smidge over 5. And I'm going to stick that on there, but before I do, I'm going to stick my tab on so I can sandwich it between the card and the Edith page. So let's do that first. Before we do that, let's ink this, because you can't ink it once you've put... Oh, look how organised I am. I've already inked it. What is going on? I'll ink down there as well. I can ink the rest once it's glued, but I can't ink where the tab is. So let's just eyeball this and see if we can get it kind of in the middle. It's not crucial that it's right in the middle. It'd be good if it was, but it's not the end of the world. So about there, maybe something like there. I'd say that looks about right. 1 3/4, 1 and yeah. It's not far off. So that's that stuck down, and then I'm just going to glue this on. Lovely. So let's get this in place. Let's just check it's the right way. Yes, we want the tab on the left hand side. And get this stuck down. It's a very pretty image, this. I love this image. Thank you so much. Lovely Mr. F rides to the rescue again. Da, da, da. There we are. Now, this just needs a little bit of trimmage up there. It's just a bit... I always find that, you know, it's seldom you cut two pieces of stuff by the same measurements and they actually do measure the same. Well, in my land anyway. I mean, they're not far out, don't get me wrong, but just need a little bit of a trim like that. Perfect. Which is horrible when it's wet because it makes your scissors all gluey. Right, so I'm going to ink round there. I'll come back and do the corners. Just give it a chance to dry a little bit. Before I cut the corners off and make my chompers all gluey. There we go, and just a little bit on the back as well. And that's actually the most challenging thing that we're going to do today. And we've done it before. We've made an acetate window before, so it's nothing new to you. You can do it. So let me just get my chompers out. 1/4 inch is fine. There we go. And I'm just going to ink where I've just cut the corners off. It's just a second's job. Just finishes it off. There we go. So that should theoretically fit into there. Well, would you look at that? How nice does that look? I'm really pleased with that. We've got the bird in and we've got all this blossom. It's really lovely. I love it. So that's going to go there. Like that. Hooked over the top. And then let me just see what I'm up to. Let's put that away in its pocket. In there, lovely. So the next thing is the flip from the side, which is this one here. So the measurement, I've gone ahead and stuck the Edith on because it's very straightforward. It's a piece of card that's just over 6. 6 would do you, 6.5 would be fine, whatever. It's arbitrary really. And it's 4.5. And I've scored at, so this measures 4, added on an extra 1/2 inch so I could score there to make the flap to stick behind the page like that. And all I've done on the back is use one of my postcard stamps and just drawn a line down there. So it does actually, I mean, I love that. I love that postcard stamp. It looks so gorgeous. So that's our flip. Easy as peasy. So that actually is all that needs to get stuck on at this stage. The other thing I am going to do is make an eyelet here. 1.5, so 3/4 there. Just to tie the string onto so as we can go around that button that we made. So get your chompers out. It's just easier to do it now than when it's actually in the book. And I'm going to put an eyelet on that because it might have some pressure on it. These are lovely colour eyelets. Look at them. They were copper. They were bright, bright copper. And they came in the pack. But I would never have used them, ever. I mean, they're just gaudy. Not nice. So Mr. F took some alcohol ink and coloured them for me. And now they're gorgeous. I love them. So we need a little bit of string. Don't need that much. It hasn't got far to travel. You could use anything for this. You could use butcher's twine, whatever you've got that's suitable. And I'm just gonna, yeah, pop that through there, through the eyelet that we've just put in. Pull the ends through like that. So we've got this, and we can tie that round our string. Okay, let's just put that away. Too much stuff out. So here's our base. Here's all the bits that need to get stuck on. Let's get that acetate out of my life. It's doing my head in. Right, so I think the thing to do possibly is to stick these onto this base piece first, then stick the base piece on. So let's do that. So I'm just going to use my glue to stick that tab, the 1/2 inch tab that we've got. And this is the front with the button on, this is the back with the reinforcement on. And this is the way this is going to be, like that. So we need to stick that on there. So make sure that it folds easily. That you haven't got it, so it's going to stick up all the time. So that's perfect. That's really nice. Just see if I can move it up a little bit and see if it'll still work. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Right, so we've got that on. The other thing is this flap here, which doesn't really matter where it goes, to be honest. It could be halfway down, it could be anywhere. Don't impede your button, that's one thing. So we'll move it up a little bit. So that needs the glue on this side here, so let's do that. Just going to close that down while I put that. I'm going to put it so it's going to fall under that flap that we've just put in. So that's it, kind of straight along there. I just want to check it's going to close okay. Yeah, that's lovely. Make sure it's stuck down. Great, that's that. So now we can go ahead and stick this section onto our base. Phew. So make sure that you really do glue it well, because all the interactive bits all depend on this being stuck properly. Make sure that you stick your reinforcement piece down well, otherwise it ceases to be of any use. It needs to be stuck onto the back. There we go. I think I've got enough glue there to certainly hold that in place. So put that up to your spine that we made. Make sure it's right on the edge there. Yeah, that's lovely. Lovely, lovely. That looks good to me. What's it look like? Looks blinking good. Come on. We can do this. Oh, didn't ink around the bottom page. Oh well. I think we can probably get it anyway. So that's that. I'll leave that to dry before I ink around it, because I don't want to pull anything out or whatever. So that comes down like that, wind around there. This flaps out like that. Yes, look, I mean, it's just looking lovely. So the only other thing that goes in here is this little pocket. And if you don't want to put it in, that's fine. I completely understand, because this really is very pretty. So, you know, don't feel as you have to do what I do. You definitely don't. But I'm going to put that in just because I just like something more. I just like the idea that I've got yet another pocket in there. But I mean, that is so pretty. You really don't have to at all. So this is just the one sheet of Edith. It's got no gussets or anything in it. It's just a very, very simple pocket. The only thing I did do is reinforce the opening side with some washi and put a little thumb hole in. And I'm putting that there under my postcard. So when you flip the postcard open, ooh, look, a pocket. Oh dear. So there we go. That's that. There's a pencil mark there that I could live without. And this is just the little journaling card. It's just a journaling card. I made it out of card, used some Edith, and I sandwiched the tab in between it. So that's it there, and that'll just go into there like that. I'm not going to do it now because I've just glued it. Don't be daft. Don't be silly. Nearly said don't be dilly. A mixture of daft and silly. It's quite good actually. I'm feeling very dilly. So there we are. That is that section complete. So you see, once we got going, it wasn't too bad at all, was it really? It's not anything that we haven't done a million times before. I'm just making sure that everything is lying nicely, which it is. And then this just comes round here and it goes round our string closure like that. You can tie a knot in it and cut that off. You really don't need too much of this string. So that's it there. And I'm just going to pull the ends tight and then trim them off. there we are. So that's that section of section 2 done. I'm going to stop there, let you get that done, and then we'll move on to finishing the whole section. Okay, so I'll really endeavour to get the rest of the video up tomorrow, so you can move along with yours, so you're not hanging around waiting for me. But in the interim, thank you very, very much for joining me, and Mr. F, who sat here listening to me and chattering on. You're going to say goodbye, Mr. F.
Bye, Miss P.
Bye, Mr. F.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.